Hey everyone, we're back on the Upper West Side of Manhattan today. We're going to be walking further uptown to 110th Street, Cathedral Parkway, walking back over to 5th Avenue on the east side, and then back to the west. We're starting off this video on West 95th Street and Broadway. You can see here is the main terminal. You can get the 1, 2, and 3 trains. This is also an express stop. So let's go ahead and get the walking tour started. One of the things I really like about the Upper West Side of Manhattan is not only can you take advantage of Central Park, which is to the right on Central Park West, but you could also take advantage of Riverside Park, which is all the way on the west side of Manhattan, Riverside Drive, overlooking the Hudson River. It's a beautiful park. Not a lot of people know about it. It's very quiet, very private, very few tourists. So if you live here, it's almost like your mini Central Park, but without the crowds. This is now 96th Street. 96th runs east to west. Right now we're looking towards Amsterdam Avenue. And if you continue to go all the way east, you'll run right into Central Park. 96th Street again is a main subway terminal. The 2 and the 3 trains will run express. The 1 train is local. And this is going to be the main train lines that you're going to be taking if you move or live, or even if you work on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. We'll get one more look of the train terminal looking southbound. Usually during rush hour, right in the morning when everyone's commuting to work. This is absolutely packed, this corner. And you also have the bus that'll take you cross town to the east side of Manhattan. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to be walking up Broadway the entire way until 110th Street. Then we're going to be making a right and headed over to Cathedral Parkway, which is Central Park North. For those of you who are curious, if you think about Central Park, it runs from 59th Street, Central Park South, between 5th Avenue and Central Park West, and it goes all the way up to 110th Street, Central Park North, or Cathedral Parkway. There's lots of these beautiful pre-war buildings here on the Upper West Side. Beautiful fire escapes, lots of tree-lined streets. You'll see tons of restaurants, shops, bodegas, coffee shops. It's a very modest, quiet, and quaint neighborhood. Very residential, but yet extremely different than the very heavy urban environment of Midtown Manhattan, where you have huge skyscrapers. This is more low-rise, pre-war. Lots of mom and pop, local businesses. See like a local copies and fax place, nail salons, local jewelry stores. Also a lot of like mom and pop owned bodegas and delis, which is nice. Definitely quite the contrast from Midtown. If you walk around Midtown Manhattan, I'd say from 34th Street, Penn Station to 42nd Street, you have an extreme lack of local businesses, in my view. They've been cannibalized by a lot of the main name brands. Like very, very seldom will you see these mom and pop 99-cent shops. Like these are all but almost gone in Midtown. So whenever I'm on the Upper West Side, I try to shop here at these local places as much as possible to support the neighborhood and the local businesses. We're now coming up on West 99th Street and Broadway. Here's an example of these beautiful Upper West Side buildings. Beautiful facades, really nice fire escapes. You have retail, restaurant at the ground floor level with that interesting juxtaposition for the newer style architecture that's popping up. Hopefully it won't totally replace the charm of these pre-war buildings of the Upper West Side. We're now on West 100th Street and Broadway. You see the Metro Diner on the corner? These are some of the original diners in New York City, which are unfortunately, a lot of them are going out of business. But my favorite diner in the city is the Flame Diner. It's on West 58th Street. You can check it out. It's on the campus of Fordham University as well as John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Pizza shop here. Looks like you have a new dim sum place, Chinese restaurant. That's one thing about the Upper West Side of Manhattan. There'll never really be a shortage of food options. But I will say Amsterdam Avenue is where most of my favorite restaurants are. If you continue to head all the way up Broadway, you'll run into Columbia University, which is an Ivy League college. Some more bars, restaurants. And a local hardware store. All right, 102nd Street. There's a good pizza shop coming up. I believe it's called Mama's 2. I just can't remember which street is it on, but I believe we're about to walk right past it. This is now 103rd Street and Broadway. You can get the 1 train on the corner here. This is a local train. Remember, on the Upper West Side, you have the Red Line. The 2 and the 3 trains will run express. The 1 train is local. So it'll go from 103rd Street to 96th Street, to 86th Street, 79th Street, 72nd Street, 66th Street, Lincoln Center, and then down to Columbus Circle, which is a major transportation hub right at Central Park South. But it's pretty convenient because the 2 train and the 3 train, if you take the 2 from 72nd Street, it'll go directly to Times Square, 42nd Street. So you skip all those local stops. Got these 2 Dalmatians here. Remember, Broadway will run north to south. So it's a very big, wide, and very, very well-trafficked street. And this is just another shot looking southbound from where we were walking. Here's some more local mom and pop businesses. Shakespeare booksellers. I think they have another location by Lincoln Center. You have an original shoe repair store, which is awesome to see. A little corner store, convenience store. And then a coffee shop. I wonder if those shoe repair stores will still be around in 10 or 20 years.
Well, maybe it gets bigger. Does it get bigger? No.
Right on the corner of West 105th Street is Silver Moon Bakery and Cafe. $2740 Broadway. Looks really good.
And these are the voter registration.
Hey, oh no, I'm good. Thanks. And here you have a voter registration booth. It's October 2nd, so you have a lot of people signing everyone up to vote as we near the election cycle. It's crazy to think the election's in a little over a month. This was the spot I was talking about, Mama's 2. This is an extremely popular pizza shop on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's between 105th and 106th Street and Broadway. I would highly, highly recommend this. So if you're visiting New York City and you want to take the train to the Upper West Side, the easiest way to do it is take the 1 train to 103rd Street, and walk up Broadway to 105th Street. And Mama's 2's Pizza will be right here in between 105th and 106th. This is an awesome spot. It's one of my favorite pizza spots in the entire city. Really good. It's a different style than traditional New York slice. They sell kind of like the square slices, but very crispy. So you have more beautiful architecture on the Upper West. This is true Upper West Side of Manhattan, New York City vibe. Now, where you see all the trees all the way over to the west side, that's Riverside Park. Right, 107th Street. We're getting close to Columbia University, which is 116th Street. You can see a lot of the beautiful tree blocks of the Upper West. But for the sake of this video, once we get to 110th Street, we are going to make a right and head towards Central Park, and you'll be able to see what the northernmost side of Central Park looks like. You can even see some of the original brownstone style buildings on the Upper West Side. My favorite block for brownstones, though, I would say is 68th Street, between Central Park West and Columbus. Okay, one more block. We'll have reached 110th. See the one train stop right here, 110th Street Cathedral Parkway Station. And the one train, the last stop on the one, will take you to Van Cortlandt Park, which is in the Bronx. But this is the main entrance. And we are now going to make a right. So just remember, if you continue walking north, this will be the campus of Columbia University, and you can see how it gets significantly more busy the further north you walk. You can actually see a lot of the students with their backpacks probably going to class. Interesting look over the cityscape of the Upper West Side. Again, pre-war brick and mortar fire escapes. Those beautiful water towers. So now we are headed east. Much of the Upper West Side has really been redeveloped. If you go to 96th Street and you walk over towards Central Park, so many new developments, and they even have a Whole Foods. The problem is a lot of these buildings are old, so every 10 years they have to restore the scaffold or restore the facade, which means you're going to have a lot of scaffolding up here. Pretty much every other block is cast in scaffolding. All right, we are now approaching Amsterdam Avenue. If we were to make a left, you'll be on the main campus of Columbia University by the Cathedral. You'll see the backside entrance of Columbia. But down in Amsterdam, it's almost like a mini college town for Columbia. It's quite nice. You have a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, lots of outdoor dining. And even all the way uptown too. It'll be bar after bar. Here's another bar here. And then you'll also reach the hospitals. This is a very, very steep hill for biking up or walking up. You also have a little park just off to the left. And then you're going to see a big circle, kind of like Columbus Circle, not really, but like Columbus Circle in the fact that you have that big roundabout. So you can go down Central Park West. Many people come over from the east side from 5th Avenue. All right, now we're coming up on Amsterdam. Beautiful buildings here again.
handling airline handling.
If you make a left, this will merge into Morningside Drive. And here we have Morningside Park. Now you're going to notice something on Central Park North. There's a lot of new development that has taken the place of some of these older buildings. And the neighborhood has become quite nice. You can say it's been gentrified. Here's an example of one of the newer buildings. You'll see many of the high-rise luxury buildings too, as opposed to a lot of the older pre-war that you see just up to the north as you would enter Harlem. All right, we've officially made it. Here we are at Central Park North, 110th Street, Cathedral Parkway. This is the very top, or you could say the end, depending on which way you're looking at it, of Central Park. You can get the B and C trains right here. And here's another one of these new luxury buildings that has gone up, you could really tell the difference. I mean, huge revitalization of the neighborhood. Now, the B train will go all the way to Brighton Beach, which is in Brooklyn. That is the last stop on the B train. Brighton Beach, Brooklyn is a big Russian community. So we're now walking around the circle. And you're even going to be able to see Billionaires Row from all the way up here. If you look in the distance and we zoom in, that is Central Park Tower that sits on 57th Street. And this is a peek into Harlem. And there is Central Park. Again, these are brand new condominium residences. And it looks like some of the retail is filling up here too. You have Purple Waves, which is a cafe wine bar. It's incredible how much the neighborhood and the area has changed. .285 West 110th Street is the address of this building. This is a physical therapy place. Now we're going to make a left and we are going to walk directly across Central Park via 110th Street and end on 5th Avenue. So you can see here across the street, that's Central Park. We're approaching Adam Powell Boulevard. This is a main entrance to the main biking path here at Central Park. And if you make a left, that'll take you up into Harlem. Look at how nice some of these buildings are. All this nice landscaping here. The facade looks good when the sun is shining on it.
I'm on live TV.
It's really quite peaceful up here. And as you'll notice, this is what I was talking about before. Ever so slowly, you're starting to get these luxury condos right on 110th Street. I mean, look at the difference here. Glass facade, modern architecture, modern design, overlooking Central Park. Over time, you're probably going to see a lot more of this style architecture, depending on the developer. It's like a Gary Burnett style, Extel almost. Similar look and feel. You're also going to see yet another newer building here in a minute. I don't know, I feel as if I like the older pre-war a little bit better, at least up here. Just kind of fits with the neighborhood more than the new style. This is now Malcolm X Boulevard. This will also take you up into Harlem. You get the M2, M3, M4 bus. I believe this will go to Washington Heights and the Cloisters Museum. So here's exactly what I was talking about. We'll actually go to the wide angle lens. Here's a new development that's going up towards Harlem, 110th Street. As you can see, very, very different, and kind of signals the coming and the ongoing gentrification of the neighborhood. I don't know, what do you think in the comments? Is it a positive, do you think, that these new buildings are going up here on 110th all the way up into Harlem? Or are you opposed to it? Let me know your thoughts. This is now the 2 and 3 train stop. It'll drop you right off at Malcolm X Boulevard. You're now equidistant pretty much between Central Park North on the west side and Central Park North on the east side, which would be 5th Avenue. Here's another interesting juxtaposition. You can see one of the older style buildings with the newer modern style architecture here. .45 Central Park North. In about 3 minutes here, we'll be right on 5th Avenue, which will take you down the east side to all the way down to 59th Street. Central Park South near the Plaza Hotel, the Sherry Netherland, and the flagship Apple Store. Okay, we made it. This is now 5th Avenue. We've now crossed over from the east side of Manhattan to the west side of Manhattan. And this is a very unique view here because if we zoom in, you can see the entire skyline of Midtown Manhattan, starting with 432 Park Avenue, 270 Park, 1 Vanderbilt, you can see the spire of the Empire State Building a little bit. 157, you can see Steinway Tower right here, and Central Park Tower. Those are the main buildings on New York City's Billionaires Row. Okay, if you enjoyed that walking tour of Manhattan's Upper West Side through 110th Street, Cathedral Parkway, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more New York City walking tours. We will see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.